I do not gangbang, but I know some people do. Tales of Toronto, the crazy story of Jackboy Tory.
Are investigating 3 separate shootings from last night, which they believe are related. They left one teen sent to hospital and 2 men dead.
Oh, it's 2 of them. What the fam?
Are you trying to slide you on the phone?
0 to 100 real quick. Yo, these niggas are kids, bro. Like that was a teenager with a G33.
Toronto's streets have seen violence before.
Yeah, I don't know why Toronto's so dangerous.
Like Jackboy Tory. By the age of 19, he'd been tied to multiple armed robberies, kidnappings, and 4 separate murders.
What?
Police launched one of the city's most intense manhunts to stop him, but behind the headlines are deeper questions. How does a kid left behind in community housing transform into one of the most feared names in the Screwface capital?
Yeah, what the heck? This is mafia music. Ooh, shit. Damn.
It all begins here.
I've been on this road.
At the intersection of Leslie and Finch sits a Toronto community housing complex known as Sparrowways. Don't get it twisted, this isn't just regular housing. It's a block riddled with street politics and bullets. Different hoods across Toronto have their own cliques and alliances, and Sparrowways is no different. Their closest ties run with the Driftwood Crips, based out of Jane and Finch, and Maze Block, a violent set from the Jane and Shepherd neighborhood.
Damn.
On the other side were their rivals, the Connection Young Bloods and OKG, both blood-affiliated crews holding down the south side of Jane and Finch. In a city already divided by blocks and borders, these alliances and rivalries would set the stage for some of the deadliest conflicts.
I have a friend who knows all about this.
For a lot of kids from Sparrowways, ripping the block wasn't even a choice, it was survival. You either moved with your people or risked being a target.
Damn.
For Jackboy Tory, this wasn't just home. This was where his whole identity got shaped. From early on, life wasn't stable. At just 11, Tory's mom got deported back to Guyana.
Oh my God.
His 5 siblings behind in a small community housing unit. His oldest sister, barely grown herself, had to play mom while trying to hold the family together.
He literally had to gangbang. He literally had to gangbang. There was no other option, bro. His mom got deported and his older sister had to play mom? Yo, they have no bread, fam. Yo, that's so crazy.
Money and food were tight, and options were slim. As a young teenager, Tory later admitted that he and his little brother would steal from lockers at their local YMCA and Good Life just to scrape together money for food and clothes.
What the heck?
On top of that, tragedy hit close. His older brother Jaleel came home from jail only to die a week later, a loss that pushed the family even deeper into struggle. By the time Tory hit his teens, the small hustles weren't enough. Soon enough, the thefts turned into stick-ups. Massage parlors became the main target, spots with cash flow, where the workers usually stayed quiet because of the type of illicit business they were running. That's where Tory linked up with Jago Anderson, an older teen with a different kind of presence. Anderson wasn't sloppy, he was calculated, always armed, always thinking.
This guy doesn't even look like, yo, I swear this is the type of nigga you see at church, bro. Like, yo, he looks like a good dude. He looks like my uncle.
With him, Tory graduated from being a broke kid stealing sneakers to a stick-up kid moving with real firepower.
You can't
the
knock
tough guy
him, bro.
persona wasn't just in the streets either. An audio clip once surfaced of him slapping someone for what he claimed was disrespect, a moment that fed into his growing rep.
No doubt.
He even popped up in the music video for Like a Movie by Rones and J Stain, rocking a Burberry shirt and black ski mask, hitting some questionable dance moves that still made it clear he wanted to be seen. For Tory, every move was another step deeper into a life that would eventually bring him face to face with 4 separate murder charges by the age of 19. But the streets talk, and in Toronto, once your name gets tied to robberies and murders, you don't stay under the radar for long. Cops start watching, and the street politics
we got good cops,
get
bro. But I'm not gonna lie to. That's so sad. He got deported, bro. I didn't even know you could get deported in Canada. Wait, how are all these Indians coming again and his mom got deported, bro? They probably had like different rules, bro. That's fucked up, though.
About 2018, Tory and Jago Anderson robbed at least 20 various businesses, many of them spas. The duo targeted massage spas because they were high-cash businesses that often avoided calling the police. Many of these spas operated in a semi-private and formal way, sometimes offering illegal sexual services, which made them less likely to report robberies.
They got them in Toronto?
That meant quick money with a lower chance of getting caught, which made them appealing targets for teens trying to make fast cash.
Hello, I called 911 right now. I called 911, okay? I called 911.
Tory's role was clear. Hold the gun, threaten anyone in the way, and watch the door while Anderson grabbed the cash. They used encrypted BlackBerry messages to plan each job. On September 9th...
Encrypted BlackBerry? Thought they would use Snapchat or some shit.
2018, their criminal hustle was caught clearly on camera. At a spa on Lakeshore Boulevard West, Anderson and Tory stormed inside, robbing the business at gunpoint. Victims later described their clothing and appearance, descriptions that matched the young men almost exactly. It was a sign of things to come. Just days later, on September 14th, 2018, the violence escalated far beyond spa robberies. 16-year-old Elijah Aziever was standing near his home at 126 Bellamy Road in Scarborough. A neighbor remembered letting him charge his phone just before he stepped outside, making plans to meet someone. Minutes later, the peace of the neighborhood shattered. Gunfire rang out. Aziever was struck and killed, a teenager gunned down in front of his own community. Surveillance captured the killers speeding off in a dark Infiniti SUV, later revealed to be leased to Jago Anderson's mother. The Crown argued Anderson was behind the wheel, while Tory was one of the two shooters who pulled the trigger. But the night wasn't over. Court documents later revealed that, in the aftermath of Aziever's murder, Tory texted his girlfriend asking for the address of a Scarborough house party. She sent him the location, 30 Alder Road. By 11 p.m., Tory was there, and once again, shots rang out. Neighbors...
So this guy went from friggin' killing somebody and then going to a party and then trying to kill somebody again. What the heck?
Surveillance cameras captured the chaos as he allegedly fired a handgun into a crowd of people leaving the party.
What?
Are you stupid? Are you fucking stupid? You're gonna come to my party and jam my man? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? I'm blocking this shit. Why is that coming to my party? Are you fucking stupid? You're gonna come to my party and jam my man? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? I'm blocking this shit. Why is that coming to my party?
Forensic testing later tied those shell casings to both the Bellamy Road killing and a separate shooting that occurred at Ross Lord Park earlier that same night.
They tried to rob him, though?
Chain of evidence, each bullet linking Jackboy Tory to more crimes. Fast forward a few days and things were about to spiral even further. On September 18, 2018,
in the city I live in,
Tory and Anderson robbed With Me Beauty Spa, located on Shepherd Avenue East in Scarborough. They stole money and a victim's iPhone. Caught again on surveillance, Anderson wore a red t-shirt and Raptors cap, Tory a dark hoodie and striped pants. An RCMP officer who was in the area on an unrelated matter saw the two men leave the area in a dark blue Infiniti SUV. Minutes later, they appeared outside another spa, the Golden Sunray. At 8:28 p.m., a single shot rang out in the parking lot. When the Infiniti SUV tore away, 19-year-old Jago Anderson was dead, laying on the ground from a
I thought he was part of the game.
Single bullet to the head. The getaway vehicle, the same Infiniti tied to the Aziever murder, was later found torched on 58 Corning Road, deliberately set ablaze. Inside, police found ID belonging to an employee of the Golden Sunray Spa. Surveillance caught Tory fleeing the area on foot before being picked up by a lift ordered by his girlfriend. The Crown painted Anderson's death as deliberate, a cold execution. Perhaps Anderson knew too much about the Aziever.
I'm not gonna hold you though. This nigga's girl is like a ride or die though. Like, what the fuck? This nigga's girl's dead or ride or die.
Maybe it was a dispute over cash. Either way, Investigators
Imagine your
believe
man is
Tory
just like some
silenced
type of
his partner
gangbanger, bro, as a female, bro.
Tory's version was very
What
different.
the heck?
It was simply a tragic accident. He claimed Anderson had asked to see a gun in the parking lot, then in a clumsy handoff the weapon discharged. Jago was a good guy. Tory testified softly. He put money in my pocket, but prosecutors called this story absurd. Anderson, known for being cautious, would never casually handle a gun in public. And the wound, a clean shot to the temple, was, in the Crown's words, not an accident.
He got lined. He got lined up.
Following Jago's death, police pressure mounted. On September 24th, 2018, Jackboy Tory was arrested and charged with 2 counts of attempted murder by the Gun Violence Suppression Unit on unrelated matters. Think about that for a second. Tory wasn't only making headlines for the spa stick-ups. By September 2018, he was already booked on 2 attempted murder charges for completely different situations. For a then 17-year-old kid, that's wild. When he was arrested, police found a pair of black Nike pants with a white stripe, the same kind linked to the spa robberies. Testing revealed 6 particles of gunshot residue on his pants and hoodie. Detectives also seized 2 phones, an iPhone 7 and a BlackBerry. Breaking into them proved difficult. But when new software finally cracked the 6-digit passcode in late 2019, investigators uncovered a goldmine, 44,000 pages of texts, photos, videos, and location data. Evidence showed Tory posing with firearms, arranging robberies, and even searching
BlackBerry
online for
got
spies in
hacked.
North York. His Wi-Fi connections and messages with his girlfriend mapped his movements almost hour by hour. We'll get more into detail about what was found later in the video, but the phone became the Crown's most powerful witness.
Yeah,
Yet controversy surrounded
crazy.
the search. Defense lawyer Gary Grill, who later made headlines representing rapper Top 5 and helping him beat a murder charge, argued that police had strip-mined Tory's phone, digging through private data well beyond the limits of their warrants and trampling on his constitutional right
I swear
to
this was
privacy.
recent.
And the cops
2021?
hadn't been perfect either. Property reports were misplaced, warrants expired, even a USB drive containing the data went missing. Still, prosecutors pushed back, insisting the evidence was solid and tied directly to the murders. The courts agreed, and the phone evidence became central to the case. Fast forward to July 9th, 2019, 9 months after Tory's arrest, the Crown dropped the 2 attempted murder charges. For a lot of people, that was shocking. 2 serious shootings tied to his name, and just like that, the charges were gone. Even more surprising, Tory was granted bail a month later on August 15th,
Yo, he's
walking
got
back out onto the
money,
streets
bro.
while still connected to a long list of robberies.
How much
under
was bail though
investigation.
for 2 murders?
To the public, it felt like the system had just handed him another chance. But freedom didn't slow him down. Not
He's a
even a month
minor, though.
later, Tory was back in the streets, right back on his bullshit.
They made the AI say that. That's crazy. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I feel bad for this kid though, bro, cause like he grew up like in some tough ass shit. Like, bro, it literally makes sense to trap. Like, I wouldn't even say that, but it made sense for the man to literally trap and just knock down doors. So, but damn, bro, there's a million different ways to get money, fam.
On August 31st, Toronto
Gotta find
police
a good way.
said Jackboy Tory was already at the center of another violent crime.
Fuck, he's just
Near
a
Leslie
kid, bro.
Street and Finch Avenue in North York, 3 armed men allegedly kidnapped and robbed 2 victims at gunpoint. Though the victims escaped
Fucking
unharmed,
still.
investigators quickly identified one of the suspects, and to no surprise, it was Tory. At just 19 years old, he was now wanted for kidnapping,
Oh, he's
robbery
19?
with a firearm, pointing a
I'm
gun,
thinking this nigga's
motor
15 or
vehicle
some
theft,
shit.
and extortion. It was
Yo.
a stunning reminder. Bail hadn't slowed him down one bit. It had only set the stage for his next move. 24 hours later, on the night of October 1st, 2019, gun violence gripped the city's northwest end yet again. In just over an hour, 3 separate shootings unfolded in the Jane and Shepherd
never
area.
going to Jane.
The scenes were connected not
It's crazy
just
how
by
close
geography,
Wonderland is to
but by
Jane.
the chilling precision of the attackers. Police would later describe it as a coordinated rampage, one that left 2 men dead, a teenager with life-altering injuries, and an entire community shaken. Behind the wheel of the violence was a deadly trio, Jackboy Tory, who had teamed up
Yo,
with
that nigga on the right look like Lil Wayne's son.
Maze Block members Eric Rowe, better known as Rico, and Josiah Blair Taylor, aka Jizzy. According to Street Chatter, Jizzy had been shot just a day before, and instead of laying low, the crew decided to strike back, going on a drill that would turn the city upside down. The violence began around 8:11 p.m., near Venetian Crescent, close to Driftwood Avenue. 16-year-old Adrian Cibulak was walking home, distracted by a video game on his phone. Out of nowhere, a white Volkswagen Golf pulled up behind him. He noticed what looked like lasers cutting through the dark. In an instant, shots rang out. Cibulak sprinted, throwing his arms over his head. Bullets tore through his fingers, leaving him with permanent disabilities. Investigators later concluded those shots weren't just meant to scare him, they were aimed at his head. Just over half an hour later, at 8:46 p.m., the same white Volkswagen surfaced at 2000 Shepherd Avenue West, a housing complex a short drive away. Surveillance footage showed 3 figures stepping into the courtyard. 2 were masked, the third was not. Prosecutors would later argue the unmasked man was Tory. Without warning, they fired multiple rounds toward the building, sending residents running for cover. Though no one was struck, shell casings scattered across the scene confirmed multiple firearms were used. It was another act of calculated terror. The night reached its bloody climax at 9:27 p.m. at 306 Grand Ravine Drive, a blood-affiliated block known to the streets as The Lane. This time, surveillance cameras caught everything. A Volkswagen...
Yo, the crazy shit is, I know a kid, bro, who grew up in a nice-ass house, eating good food, with good-ass parents. He used to have a race car bed, bro, and he turned into a crip, bro. Like, I will never understand that, bro. You grew up in a good home, you got everything you need, and you want to gangbang.
3 men jumped out the back seat, all strapped. They moved fast through a breezeway into the courtyard, where 24-year-old Delonte Bryant was standing.
I feel like I've seen
Gunfire
this dude,
erupted.
bro. What the heck?
Shots tore into Bryant's head and upper body. He dropped instantly, gone before he even had a chance to move. But then came the twist. Rico, one of the shooters, caught a bullet to the head.
Oh my God.
Forensics later pointed to friendly fire, and word spread that it was his own boy, Jizzy, who had accidentally pulled the trigger. As Rico lay on the ground bleeding out, the cameras caught something even colder, his 2 accomplices bending over him, stripping him of his phone and firearm before sprinting back.
They shot their bro and then took his shit. So even when you gangbang, you gotta watch out for your homies. Watch who you call your homies.
Back to the car. Not long after, cell phone footage surfaced, showing the aftermath. Bryant being wheeled off on a stretcher, with Rico following behind on another. In the background, a voice cut through the chaos. Cypher, the older brother of rapper Hood Baby Peppa, can be heard mocking Rico.
Yo, stay up! Stay up! I swear to God! Yo, stay up, man! Just remember, one day, eh?
Oh, it's 2 of them. What the fam?
Trying to slide you under the pack. How you trying to slide you under the pack? You a pussy.
It was personal. The crew had just sprayed Peppa's crib, with the bullets rumored to be meant for Cypher, and now the block was watching one of them pay the ultimate price. But what happened after might have been even darker. Word spread fast in the streets, and Jizzy knew the whispers were aimed at him. He wasn't just paranoid, he was convinced Rico's homies were going to kill him for the accident. Terrified, he supposedly confessed the whole thing to Rico's own mother, like he was begging for forgiveness before it all caught up to him.
He told the mother of the guy he just killed everything he did to her son. Yo, some people live a real life horror story, bro. Like, I'm so dead ass. Like,
then, just when things couldn't get more twisted, fate doubled down. Only days later, Jizzy's cousin, Deshane Taylor, aka SP, was shot dead while sitting in his car. The timing was too close. Panicked, Jizzy fled the city, disappearing before the streets could deliver their payback.
Wow. Wow.
By the end of that...
Imagine dying. Imagine dying because your cousin fucking... This shit is twisted, bro. I can't.
2 new murder victims, Delonte Bryant, executed in the courtyard,
this is so
and Eric
sad,
Rowe,
bro.
a
So
gunman
many
turned
rats.
casualty. Meanwhile, Adrian Cibulak, the teen shot earlier in the spree, was left facing a lifetime of disability. Police knew they had to move fast. The shooters weren't slowing down until either someone stopped them or they ended up dead themselves. Investigators began piecing the case together with surveillance
no way
video,
this is real life,
ballistics, and cell phone data.
Like,
Forensic
really?
experts matched shell casings across all 3 shootings, proving
I'm
that at least
grateful,
one
bro.
gun had been carried from scene to scene. Investigators also noted how the shooters moved with precision, coordinated, and deliberate.
Like, yo,
Volkswagen-
he's popping, like, right, like, beside the people, too. Like, God forbid he accidentally shoots, like, the girl or the... Yo, I mean, nigga probably has good aim, bro.
The vehicle used
probably has some good aim,
was
bro.
a ghost. Its plates were too blurry to read, and the car had no unique features to trace. But technology left other clues. Detectives tracked a SIM card linked directly to Jackboy Tory. Cell records showed his device moving in tandem with phones belonging to Jizzy and Rico. Hours before the murders, all 3 phones pinged at a cell tower near Driftwood Crypt territory.
Good cops.
Then, like clockwork, the devices went dark during the shootings, only to light up again after the bloodshed. To prosecutors, it was a digital fingerprint tying Tory to every move that night. Rico's role wasn't up for debate. He died at the scene. Jizzy as well, his distinctive dysfunctional left arm visible in the footage. That left the 3rd gunman. The Crown argued it was Tory, the shooter in a white top, firing left-handed, moving alongside Rico and Jizzy. His left-handedness, his clothing, and his known ties to the others built the case. What Tory did after the murders only made things worse. He showed up at Rico's funeral, and days later was spotted at Yorkdale Mall, shopping with Rico's friends, flashing cash, and wearing the same padded jacket seen in the surveillance. Fortunately, by October 20th, 2019, less than a month after the killings.
So the niggas I be seeing at the mall really do be gangbanging. So them shiestied up young niggas really do be gangbanging.
Jackboy Tory's run came crashing down in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Police had been
Thunder Bay is
to
far.
a disturbance on Pearl Street, a call that would set off a chain of events leading straight to him. Hours later, officers executed a high-risk takedown on Lake Street, swarming a vehicle carrying 4 people from Toronto. Inside, they uncovered a loaded handgun, roughly $16,000 worth of.
Yo, fun fact, bro, I literally risked my life one time with a girl, bro. I went to a random B&B with a bunch of niggas from Brampton that were like damn near far as hell, bro. And then like I went to the B&B and I was just chilling with my girl, bro. And all the niggas there were just YNs, shiesties, everything, bro. Like niggas were bugging, bro. This one guy was pissed, bro. Started like pushing mans, and he bumped into me too. And I was about to take it personal, but like, yeah, there's just no way I'm catching beef with randos, bro. Whatever, bro. You got it, bro. And then like I don't even know, bro. God forbid I took that shit. I had pride, bro. I would have got my ass busted. The whole house was probably gonna jump me to I don't know what I'm doing, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie.
$5,000 worth of fentanyl and another $5,000 in cash. Among those pulled from the car was then 19-year-old Tory, hiding under the alias Dimitri Green, carrying an Ontario health card that wasn't his. For a year, he had slipped through the cracks, sticking up spas and leaving bodies in his wake. But on that night, the ride was over. After months of bloodshed, Jackboy Tory was finally in handcuffs.
Fuck. Man gets away with beer kills and he's finally in jail?
Then came trial time, and the courtroom turned into a stage. Tory, now 22, took the stand and testified at length. He denied knowing 16-year-old Elijah Aziever would be killed, insisting the guns he handed over were only for robberies.
Yo, I can understand doing gangbanger stuff for like your young days, but you're like 19, 20, 22, bro. Like you're a grown man, bro. Like swap it out, bro. Find a legal way, bro. Like,
he then admitted firing one of those guns at the Alder Roadhouse party, but said it was just for show. On the death of Jago Anderson, his closest partner in crime, Tory swore it was accidental, a panic-filled mistake after a night of spa robberies. Even when pressed, he refused to name anyone else involved. "I don't want to be a snitch," he told the court, explaining that silence was his only protection inside and outside prison. Tory's lawyer, Gary Grill, pushed back on the Crown's case. He argued that there was no clear motive for the killing of Jago Anderson. According to Grill, Anderson wasn't just an associate. He was Tory's access to both money and guns through their string of spa robberies. Eliminating him made little sense. And if it was intentional, Grill argued, why do it there, in public, right before a robbery with people around? In his words, this is the worst place to kill someone. But the Crown countered with a mountain of evidence, much of it pulled from Tory's own phone. Detectives uncovered data that tied him not just to the murders, but to a wider web of violence. Investigators combing through the device stumbled on photos and documents belonging to a robbery victim named Maria Gonzalez. Police connected that to a Peel Region home invasion on September 3, 2018, where 3 armed men tied up Gonzalez, stole property, including her iPhone, which was later linked to Tory's Apple ID. Digging deeper, officers found evidence linking Tory to multiple other incidents. A shooting at the Scarborough Center for Alternative Studies on September 12, 2018, another at Ross Lord Park 2 days later, and the Alder Road party shooting later that same night. Going through the court files paints a wild picture. Before Tory even turned 20, he was already tied to 20 massage parlor robberies, a break-and-enter, an armed robbery, a kidnapping, 7 separate shootings, 2 attempted murders, and 4...
And that's just what they caught him for. That's just what they caught him for. Man's will be doing illegal shit. You go uncaught 100 times before you get caught once. So I'd multiply this all by 44. This guy's crazy, bro.
Premeditated killing.
Except the murder.
It's clear Tory wasn't a victim of circumstance. He
Murders
was an
the cops
active player in a violent campaign across the city. Despite the lengthy rap sheet, investigators prioritized the 4 murders tied to his name: Elijah Aziaver, Jago Anderson, Delonte Bryant, and Rico. To prosecutors, the timeline from Venetian Crescent to Grand Ravine Drive wasn't random chaos. It was a coordinated plan. The defense pushed back hard. They warned about the dangers of misidentification in grainy video, pointed out that Tory was often just a stick figure in the Crown's narrative, and dismissed the phone records as circumstantial. They argued that association with known shooters didn't prove he pulled the trigger. Still, the judge noted the strength of the Crown's case. In the end, the story told by surveillance, ballistics, and digital breadcrumbs was simple. Tory was there, and he was firing. In June 2024, now 24...
Yo, it's actually so easy to get popped, bro. Because I just remember, anybody else do that senior assassin shit when mans will hunt you down, bro? Yo, I used to get, caught a lot. Mans were coming behind us with blicks, bro. Remember turning my neck and seeing mans with guns. Imagine if mans in real life wanted to kill you.
Years old, Jackboy Tory was given 3 life sentences with no chance of parole for 25 years for the first-degree murders of Delonte Bryant, Jago Anderson, and Rico. He was also handed a 12-year sentence for the attempted murder of Adrian Cebulak, who was shot and left permanently injured. Although he wasn't convicted for the first-degree murder of Elijah Aziaver, Tory's punishments will all run concurrently, meaning it's almost certain that he will never walk free again.
Wow.